While Congress was trying to get the federal government back to work today, work was shutting down all across Colorado. I know someone who got Hamilton tickets this morning. Did you? He paid someone to shovel his sidewalk so he wouldn't get fined by the city. Then the city put the snow back on his sidewalk.
Polar bear obviously goes over one's head.
And what the heck is going on here? Why this is the method scientists are using to track climate change. And lawmakers use a 9 Wants to Know investigation as the basis for a new bill. How our coverage about Colorado prisoners hidden in plain sight is guiding the conversation. Next. You'd think when a person is sentenced to prison, it'd be pretty easy to know where they are. You know, locked up at a specific prison. But a 16-month 9 Wants to Know investigation discovered the location of more than 100 prisoners transferred out of Colorado is secret. And the Colorado Department of Corrections says it's perfectly legal. Lawmakers are now considering changing that practice of secrecy. Some told us they watched Anastasia Bolton's stories, and that inspired them to push forward with a bill. The proposed legislation would require the Department of Corrections to tell victims where an inmate has been transferred to out of state. There are some exceptions. If an inmate is a witness and the head of prisons feels disclosing their location is a risk to the inmate or staff. There is a law in the books already that some say should guarantee the victim's right to know, but it's not been working.
The law is really clear. The law says upon request of a victim, the Department of Corrections shall notify the victim of the location where the offender is housed. Now, the Department of Corrections has just felt free to violate that law, felt free to just blatantly violate the law. So there needs to be some type of legislative change so that it's really clear. So you're really telling them, this is what we meant, and you really got to do it.
The idea of secret prisons drew a lot of attention because the Aurora theater shooter was taken out of state. And while his victims were not allowed to know where he was, it's possible his parents did. Late last year, the shooter was transferred to a federal prison, Pennsylvania, and the feds shared his location as they do for most inmates. All flags were lowered to half-staff today to honor Sergeant First Class Mikhail Galin. The 34-year-old Green Beret stationed at Fort Carson in Colorado Springs was killed while on patrol in Afghanistan on New Year's Day. He's the first American soldier to be killed while serving in 2018. Born in Latvia, he moved to the U.S. when he was 21, and within 3 months he enlisted in the Army, where he served for almost 13 years. We thank Sergeant First Class Galin for his service. The next time the federal government shuts down, we'll tell you about what happened the last time. So remember 3 days. That's how long the federal government was shut down before Congress agreed to a temporary spending bill today. Enough Senate Democrats, including Colorado's Michael Bennet, abandoned the shutdown today, voting yes, with Republicans, including Cory Gardner. The only no's from Colorado are Diana DeGette and Jared Polis. The agreement only buys a few weeks. Today's funding bill only goes through February 8th. Girl Scout cookies go on sale Super Bowl Sunday. Now that I have your attention, I have non-cookie Girl Scout news. The 5 Girl Scouts who are trying to get a law passed in Aurora will be back in front of City Council in about 90 minutes. The Scouts are trying to earn their Silver Award, a high recognition in Girl Scouts, by getting City Council to pass a law making it illegal to smoke in cars with minors. It has to make it through tonight's meeting to get a final vote at the next City Council meeting in February. Well, it works for The Voice and America's Got Talent, so why not Colorado politics? Ask the people to vote and see what you get. Walker Stapleton is a Republican running for governor. And just like those reality shows you love to watch right here on 9 News, cheap plug, he's crowdsourcing. He sent this survey to those signed up for his campaign emails, asking what's the top issue facing Colorado in 2018. One of the options is securing our southern border. Well, that caught our attention because now I'm concerned for those living in Trinidad and Durango. Since, you know, the southern border for a Colorado gubernatorial candidate is New Mexico. We reached out to the Stapleton campaign to find out if there's something we need to be concerned with, particularly in the close to the border towns of Raton, Dulce, or I'm looking at you, Farmington. A campaign spokesman told us, and this is a direct quote now, "You got us." That's funny. It is. We are equal opportunity when it comes to tough questions for politicians on Next, which is why the governor also has some explaining to do. A keen-eyed Next viewer shared with us the governor's Facebook post from Saturday morning about the Women's March. The Facebook post says, "Today we stand in awe as tens of thousands come together for the Women's March on Colorado." This was posted at 8 a.m. Saturday. our tipster, who calls themselves Fact-Checking Viewer, did a reverse image search and discovered what we discovered. This is a photo that a Denver Post photographer took at last year's Women's March. And stop shouting fake news at the screen for just a few seconds. We asked the governor's office what gives, and a spokeswoman told us the intent was to recognize the anniversary of last year's march with a post before people gathered this year. She admits it should have been a little clearer in the caption and should have included a photo credit from 2017, which, guess what, right there, after we asked about it, it now does. When Hamilton tickets went on sale this morning, the federal government was still shut down. It's quite possible Colorado businesses were too, since there were more than 100,000 in the virtual waiting room. Quite a few from this newsroom. From a buggy link that may have let people cut in line to a possible time zone glitch, 9 Wants to Know reporter Jeremy Hohola is getting answers from the Denver Center for the Performing Arts.
From freezing in real lines,
I know my kids absolutely love the soundtrack to this,
to long waits online.
So I have both phones and both browsers.
I have a loading.
More than 100,000 people camped and mostly clicked their way at a chance to get Hamilton tickets, even in our newsroom.
Mine's not loading. Where's mine?
They should all be working. They don't need to be looking for Hamilton tickets.
1 minute.
Those who logged in received a random place in line.
2,715.
85,000. There's hope.
79,000. 527.
I hate you guys! You guys, I'm totally gonna get tickets.
Producer Katie Wilcox won place number 2,715.
Oh my God, can I have your other 2 tickets? Yes.
The best in our newsroom. And after about an hour,
Okay. All right. Red means limited, green means excellent.
the ticket options opened up. Okay. She bought 4 at $115 each.
Like, those were more expensive than I had intended, but they're pretty good. I'm pretty excited for this.
So what do I do? Just sit here?
Thousands of others were upstaged by the randomness of the ticket system.
See that? Nothing has moved. It's been 20 minutes. Nothing has moved.
It's safe to say there's a lot of disappointment out there and skepticism. A viewer sent a link, a possible bug in the computer system that may have allowed people to cut ahead in line without waiting in the online queue. Viewers also told us friends and family in time zones ahead of Denver were able to buy tickets before everyone else. And within an hour of sales, tickets on StubHub and Craigslist were going for hundreds of dollars each. The DCPA says it's reviewing those issues and may revoke some tickets. But sometimes the old-fashioned ways work best.
Quick update, we're still stuck outside.
Ryan Harrer, waiting in line in the cold, got tickets.
We did it! Way to go!
And out of the bunch in our newsroom, one man won by phone.
I went the old school method.
Marshall.
This guy with the cell phone. All right, good job. Okay. Good job. You did well.
Thanks.
Leave it to you to do something like that. So what happens if you didn't get a ticket out there? There's a lottery that's going to happen before every single Hamilton show. 40 tickets will go into a lottery pool. They're $10 each. So the DCPA will make announcements on that here very soon.
I'd venture to guess that if they do withdraw tickets from people who might have got them illegally, they'll be back in there, so just keep checking periodically.
And they recommend check the regular ticket sales sites before each show because something may pop up.
All right.
You never know.
Stay on it, Jeremy.
It was fun today.
All right. Don't come calling for the tickets from me. I don't know anything you're talking about. I just want to take a quick moment and commend Ryan Harrer and everyone else who waited in line for tickets in person. Okay, call me a hypocrite, but can't we just go back to that point in time when the only option was waiting outside Soundtrack or Median F or the actual venue like Ryan did to get tickets? Just once, I'd like to be forced to show up outside a store for one of those water slide wristbands that you get 1 hour before they decide which number in line gets to go first. It's no virtual wait room, but it's virtually bug-free. I know it hasn't been snowing that often lately, but do you know your city's rules for clearing your sidewalk? Joe Garrett in Denver knows he can be fined if he doesn't clear the sidewalk the day after the snow stops falling. He contacted Next after he shoveled his walkway a few times yesterday, even having a snow removal company come help out. But when he woke up this morning, his sidewalk was covered again. He claims the same city snowplows, which were clearing roads, hooray, came through and pushed the snow right back onto his sidewalk.
It's that battle between, great, you're actually doing something for my corner, getting rid of the snow, but at the same time, it's like, what do? Do you let it sit here and melt, hope that no one slips on your sidewalk? Or do you go out and take care of it, which we obviously did and took care of some of our neighbors as well?
Joe says he's worried about his elderly neighbors, so he reached out to the city, but he says they didn't really have an answer for him. They got back to him this afternoon, and they told him, oops.
When they're clearing snow, they try to push the snow. They try to get as close to the curb as possible. So they're trying not to push that snow onto the sidewalk. Our plows pushing snow on the sidewalks doesn't happen very often, but we are truly really sorry when it does happen.
Denver requires businesses to clear the sidewalk 4 hours after the snow stops. Homeowners get a full day. City inspectors don't give you the $150 ticket right away. They'll give you notice that you're in violation and come back 4 hours later for a business, the next day for a homeowner. Remember that time it was snowy and cold and, oh, that was yesterday? We could be near 60 by the middle of the week because, you know, Colorado. Hey, there's something in Denver's Civic Center Park, and it's not 420 related. It's a new interactive sculpture, and we went to find out if anyone uses it. And a scientist in Colorado becomes a master of disguise.
How else do we learn how animals are going to react unless we're looking through their eyes?
Next.
What a difference a day makes. Don't you love Colorado weather? I'm meteorologist Kathy Sabin. We have clear skies, light winds, currently 32 in the city after an average high of 44 today, and we'll go even warmer tomorrow. Our powerful storm system tracking off to the east, another one moving on shore in California, and a little impulse coming in ahead of it to bring a brief snow shower to the northern mountains tomorrow. Denver will be dry. There may be a few more clouds overnight and for the first part of the day tomorrow. And because of that little impulse, temperatures will stay again in the low to mid 40s ahead of a big warming trend just in time for the end of the week. Tonight, partly cloudy and 18 degrees. Tomorrow, temperatures in the low to mid 40s once again. The midweek warming trend does include temperatures in the mid 50s on Wednesday, low 60s Thursday. Next storm and chance for snow will be in the mountains Friday, but there's a 20% chance that we'll see a little bit of snow here in Denver ahead of a nice weekend warming trend. 43 Saturday and mid 50s on Sunday. And I don't know, Marshall, yesterday really was the perfect day for a game. Beach shoveling.
You know, I had the same picture of me, but I didn't want to share it because I thought it might be too duplicate of what you have there.
Always share.
Thanks, Kathy.
Okay.
Denverites are used to seeing pianos in public, along the 16th Street Mall, for example. But the sounds coming from the newest edition might be a surprise. Some might say it sounds more like a steel drum than a piano. This is in Civic Center Park. The artists who installed it here late last week call it the Tree of Transformation. The interactive piece is rooted in a full-size upright piano. It's topped by a twisting steel pipe trunk and branches.
In front of the Capitol and the court, you know, the courthouse, it's just, you wouldn't expect it to be here, but I'm glad it is. It's beautiful.
The Denver-based artists behind this tree, Nick Gertz and Ryan Elmendorf from Yeti Works, say they hope it inspires strangers to collaborate. It'll stay open for collaboration through April 15th.
I want to know how animals think, how animals act, how animals survive.
Once this researcher goes undercover, it's like he's barely there. Spring training is still a month away, so what is Charlie Blackmon doing in the off-season? I spy something furry in Colorado. And a shout out to the first responders, who are good ones, and they're almost all good ones. Next. It's no secret. I know you've been looking at my beard and thinking, what's Charlie Blackmon doing in the off-season? Well, he's hanging out in Colorado this past weekend, spied at the Nuggets game on Friday with Von Miller, clearly sharing beard grooming tips. On Saturday, Charlie Blackmon took his beard grooming tips tour to the river with third baseman Nolan Arenado. The two of them went fishing and posted the photos on Instagram. You can have your Kardashians, California. We'll keep spying on Charlie Blackmon. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, travel to a remote Arctic island, blend into your surroundings and report back. We found the Coloradan more than willing to do the job, and our Noel Brennan and Ann Herbst got to meet him.
I have to come all the way over to Moscow.
Planning the next mission.
And wait for a helicopter to take us to the island.
Is always a little tedious for Joel Berger.
Here are more serious boots. These are my moderately cold weather boots. A variety of different sleeping bags. I don't even know where they are. That's interesting. Deeper cold weather boots. I'll probably take 3 trunks.
Complete with an alias.
In French, Joel Berger.
Joel is a spy of sorts.
So I'll bring a couple of GPS units.
An agent who never forgets his disguise.
The polar bear. Polar bear obviously goes over one's head. I totally feel like I'm going undercover and having a disguise on.
Joel is really just a scientist and CSU professor who tries to infiltrate herds of musk oxen.
It's this animal that's got massive fur that droops down almost to the ground, and they live in these herds, and they're cold adapted and live only in the Arctic.
He's got a unique approach to gathering intel.
We want to know how muskox are going to respond to this. But maybe the muskox thinks, well, this is just an idiot in a bear head.
So sometimes he tries a caribou.
A graduate student of mine made this one.
He goes undercover to understand how musk oxen think, act, and survive in a changing Arctic climate.
With more rain on snow events, we have more periods in which mothers can't access their food.
Because of that, he's noticed musk oxen aren't as big as they used to be.
Which may be 15% smaller than they should be.
He'll report next month.
There's different kind of tents.
To a remote island north of Russia.
Because we want to know how the changing climate is impacting animals and their survival.
A mission fit for Joel Berger. Sci-Spy.
How else do we learn how animals are going to react unless we're looking through their eyes?
For next, I'm Noel Brennan.
I fully expected Noel right there, where he usually sits, to be wearing that at the end of that story. Joel Berger has been studying musk oxen for about a decade. He and his colleagues published a new study about it just last week. We end the week with good news. Why not start it that way, too? A shout out to first responders who are good ones, even though they're almost all good ones. Next. This next story isn't about a police officer in trouble, a teacher who got caught cheating, or a nurse stealing drugs. This next story is about a public servant doing the right thing. You know, like 99% of them do every day, and that never makes the news. They're the good ones, and they're almost all good ones. Resource Officer Sharon Avendano, Denver Police Department. She helped out a woman named Ava in Denver. Ava suffers from a mental illness and needed help cleaning up her home because she kept getting citations from the Department of Public Health. Officer Avendano was worried that Ava would lose her home, so she figured out how to get a dumpster donated, recruited some volunteers, and cleaned up Ava's home in one day. Then the Aurora Police Department tweeted about their good ones last night. The Aurora Community Outreach Team. They spent last night out in the snow handing out cheeseburgers, clothes, and hand warmers to those who spent the night outside. These are the good ones, and they're almost all good ones. 2 pieces of feedback about Hamilton tonight. Kelly, didn't help 9 News making this their top story, sending out push notifications, etc. I rely on the forgetfulness of others. I feel like there's a compliment in there somewhere. And Missy Hawthorne, the sun will still come up tomorrow. Missy, Annie was last year, Hamilton this year. See you next time.